Hi, and welcome back. Attorney Steve Vondran here. Welcome to another exciting episode of Copyright Watchdog. Okay, so in this video, let's head to the Attorney Steve litigation whiteboard. In this video, we are talking about the copyright holder exclusive rights under 17 U.S.C. 106. Okay, that's the United States Code if you were wondering. So here we have an example for you. So the question in this video is, if you have copyrights, what sort of rights does it give you? So there's 5 main rights that we're going to talk about that you get whenever you fix a creative work into a tangible medium of expression. A creative work of authorship fixed in a tangible medium of expression. So here I have the example of a book or a play. So say you wrote a book or a play and you register it with the Copyright Office. You can do it for under $100. It's a pretty good piece of intellectual property. What do you get? Well, you get a bundle of rights. This is what we call it, a bundle of rights. Here's your 5 rights that you're going to get here, and it is subject to a few limitations here. So let's go over these. Number 1, you have the right to reproduce. You have the exclusive right as a copyright holder to reproduce your copyrighted work. That means, say you have a picture of Mickey Mouse and it's copyrighted, you can't just go slap it on a t-shirt and start selling it all over the place. You're reproducing the copyrighted work. So that would be infringement unless you get authorization from the copyright holder, whoever holds the copyrights. So your first and probably your most important right is your right of reproduction. Number 2, and I put up here, reproduction would be like somebody getting your software code and creating a disk and reproducing your code and selling it. That's reproducing a software program, okay? Number 2, the second bundle of rights that a copyright holder enjoys is the right to make derivative works. Now, what's a derivative work? Well, essentially it's something that's a little bit different from the original work, and it sort of transforms it into something new. So you have your book or your play here, and maybe you're going to turn that into a screenplay so you can turn it into a movie. That would be an example of the right to make a derivative work out of this. So if somebody's doing that without your authorization, you're the holder of the rights, you would again have an infringement action down here. Okay? So that's number 2. Another example in the software world is version 2.0. When you come out with a new edition of your software, new and improved, you're essentially upgrading or building on the prior code, and that can be subject to a second registration and could also be deemed a derivative work. Okay. Number 3, another important right. This is the right to distribute. So we've got derivative works, we've got reproduce, the right to distribute to the public, and this is your situation where you have the book. You make a deal with Barnes and Noble. They're going to allow people to, buy, rent, or sell your book, and so you have the distribution rights. So other people can't just take it, reproduce it, distribute it without your express permission. Okay. The next one is public performance. This is pretty obvious. If you take somebody's book or play and you go out into the local park and you start selling tickets and you're going to do the play out in the park, that's going to be a problem because you're publicly performing this copyrighted work and you're even charging a fee that would obviously lead you into some trouble with the copyright holder, okay? And our last one is the right of public display, very similar. Any sort of public display in a store or anywhere else that you're publicly displaying somebody's copyrighted work, photos, music, whatever the case may be, playing their music over the intercom without permission. Things like that are going to lead to an infringement action. Now I put here a couple limits. These are probably the 2 most popular limits on a copyright holder's rights. Number 1 is the fair use doctrine. And what the fair use doctrine really says is, if I take a little piece or a snippet out of here and I comment on it or critique it, or it's, on something to do with the news there are certain uses where we say, that's such a nominal use that we're not gonna hold this party liable infringement. So we're gonna do a whole nother video on fair use. It's simple, but it gets a little tricky. So we're gonna do a separate thing on that. But that's one to know in the first sale doctrine is one which can limit the distribution right. There's already a video out on that. Google Attorney Steve for sale doctrine if you're interested in that. Okay, so each of these rights, these bundle of rights that you have, each of these can be licensed to a different party. You could license this over here to a t-shirt maker. You could license this over here to a software maker. You could take the distribution right and you could license that to anybody you want. Public performance, you could send that to a bunch of actors and say, here, you have the right to perform, pay me a fee. So copyright is really unique if you think about it. If you can come up with something that's interesting, something that's really an interesting piece of work, whether it's a software that does a specific function, or it's a book or a play or a photo or artwork or music, jingles, anything, jewelry, anything. You get these bundle of rights and you can then try to exploit the income value of that by licensing it out to different entities. So that's a quick overview of copyright law. Again, if you have an infringement, the other reason the copyright law is really powerful is infringement actions. If you can prove willful infringement of any of these items, you can seek up to $150,000 in statutory damages. So it's pretty significant. I like to tell my clients, this was a law written by the movie studios, the software companies, the literary world. And so this is a pretty beefy law. If you have some creative things that you can come up with, get your copyright, very low price to get your copyright, and then you have some nice rights that go along with that. So anyway, that's a basic overview of 17 U.S.C. 106, the copyright holder's exclusive rights. I hope you like this video. It's general legal information only and not legal advice. If you have any comments, questions, keep it clean. Give me some of that. Give me a like. Share this video on your social media networks if you like it, okay? Thanks a lot, Attorney Steve Vondran. You can find out more information about me and my firm at attorneysteve.com. Thanks for watching. We'll talk again.